The samples have come in. I actually, you know those cooking videos when they like put something in the oven and they take something out at the same time because they started cooking it before the show started? That's what I did. I actually ordered these two samples before I started filming. They arrived the day that I started filming. They arrived like this morning. So here are the samples, the same designs I showed you in the video. The phone case, like I said, it comes in two layers as I expected. The inner one is a rubbery layer, so it should be easy to put on your phone. And the outside one is a plastic layer, so a little more scratch resistant, a little more durable as well. Honestly, like you can see the quality right here. I'll show you guys like some close-up B-roll of this, but print quality looks pretty decent. I'm definitely able to see everything I wanted to. Overall, the case feels pretty good. Like I'm pretty happy with this. The sweatshirt then, you can see this one has the embroidering on the top chest pocket. It also has, like, honestly, pretty good softness, pretty good fit. The strings have small knots on the bottom, as opposed to some might have like a metal clip or something like that. But now that I have this, I probably will want to take some real life photos with this sample, in addition to the mock-ups that we already have. The mock-ups are great and they're really a good start, but what I would recommend, there's really two ways that I would go about doing this. One way is if you have a friend who is a photographer, or you know somebody you can hire as a photographer to take photos of this, whether you're the one modeling it or maybe somebody else, that is going to be probably your best bet. That's going to be a really good way to showcase it, and somebody who really knows what they're doing and has a professional camera, that's going to be the option number one. That's the best option you could have. But if you can't do that, which, let's be honest, not everybody has a professional camera or a friend with a professional camera. So if you have to use your phone, say you have an iPhone or literally any new phone, the photo quality is definitely going to be good enough. The only thing that is not good enough is going to be the like default. Like most people are pretty bad at taking photos. Like the situation, the environment, the lighting that you might instinctively choose most likely is not going to be the best. So I want to give you guys kind of a quick crash course on how to set up lighting. Not that I'm like a Hollywood lighting expert, but I've been filming YouTube videos and doing a lot of product photography and portrait photography for the past, I don't know, 6 or 7 years. So I want to share some quick tips on how you can do some really good high quality photography at home using just your phone. And so the number one thing, the most important thing is going to be your background. You want to make sure that you don't have a lot of clutter, you don't have anything going on. And so you can think about this. Maybe you want just like a plain wall. Maybe you want like a natural environment. You're hanging out in like a living room, for example. That could look really good, but you want to make sure you don't have like a bag of McDonald's in the corner, anything distracting from the subject of the photo, which is going to be the shirt, the sweatshirt, the phone case, whatever it is you're showing. You want to make sure you don't have any distractions. So for me, I might use, for example, my living room right here, and I want to clear everything from the background. Maybe a couple house plants back there would be good. Just a nice, clean, simple setup. Now, the second most important thing is going to be your lighting. People always have this temptation to take the photo with like an overhead light on and not a lot of other lights in the room. That won't look good. For most people, the best angle for the light is actually going to be about a 45-degree angle from the side. Right now, like I have a key light in this studio right there. Now, if I were going to take this photo again, like in my living room, for example, I would use a window. Windows have by far the best lighting you are going to get anywhere in your entire home. Don't even bother having any lamps. If you can use a window and you could do it when there's like a nice soft lighting, maybe it's cloudy outside, or maybe the sun's on the other side of your house, not shining directly in at you, this is going to be a great opportunity for some nice bright lighting. Now, men and women have slightly different preferences for where the lighting would be. So for men, I would have a steeper angle. So maybe anywhere from, if right in front of you is 0 degrees, I would say from 45 degrees to 90 degrees would be a good spot for the light to be. So you have more of a hard shadow on their face. It'll show the jawline a little bit more, and make them look better in general. For women, you might have softer lighting, so it might be a little bit more in front of them. It might be anywhere from like 15 to 60 degrees would be a pretty good spot for the window. And then what I typically do, especially if you're taking photos of something smaller, whether it is a mug or a phone case, I would set this up somewhere on a table, and you want to have things really, really far away. You want a lot of depth in your field. You don't want something like right next to it that could be distracting. And then typically, this sounds strange, but typically what I would do is I would actually use your telephoto lens on your phone for a smaller product. So if you have, for example, the iPhone 15 Pro Max, you have a 5x zoom lens on there. If you go pretty far away actually, and you zoom all the way in, you're going to have a really nice natural blur. It's going to look a lot like a professional camera, and it's going to give you overall a really nice photo. In addition, by having a zoomed in lens, not cropping in on the regular lens on your camera, but actually having a zoomed in telephoto lens, you have less distortion on your object. So if you look at like an ultra wide, for example, everything's kind of weird and distorted on the outside, but the zoomed in, nice straight lines, everything looks exactly as it should. Honestly, that's how I would take photos, especially if you're doing the smaller objects. For the clothing, you'll probably want to use your main camera lens on your phone. You could use portrait mode if it's good, but definitely be very critical of portrait mode. I would look at portrait mode and try to find any little errors. If there's like bubbles of clarity around your head, people are going to see that and realize it's kind of uncanny, kind of unprofessional. And so you want to make sure that if it doesn't look perfect, don't use portrait mode. Just go back to the regular camera mode and maybe remove some more things from behind you. Maybe you're sitting in a chair, maybe you just have a plain wall, maybe a plant next to you. You don't need to blur everything in the background, unless, like I said, you have like the newest iPhone and it looks really good when you do that.